and we will interview Bruce Klein. Now, Bruce has been on the show before talking about his book, but let's step into the interview I had with him again. Bruce Klein, welcome back to the show.
Thank you. It's always a pleasure.
So before we start, I mean, you're not here to talk about your book, but how is your book doing? You're learning all sorts of things that authors have to do, I presume.
Yeah, the challenging piece is the marketing. That's you think you write a book and everybody's just going to swoop in and grab and buy your book, but that's not the case. There's a little bit of marketing that's involved, but I've gotten really good reviews from people. People have told me that it's kind of really touched them in ways that they didn't imagine reading it. So it's always good to hear those remarks.
Yeah, I've got people have written to me to thank me for having you on the show because they've read the book and loved it. So
oh, nice.
I know what you're talking about. That's great. And your book is called Do You Hear My Voice? And do you want to give us a quick summary for those who maybe missed the previous episode?
Right. So very quickly, Do You Hear My Voice it's a story of my spiritual reawakening, so to speak, but because I was born in a really conservative religion. But then one night I had a spirit appear to me and spoke to me. And I came to find out that spirit is actually someone I'm connected to eternally. And it's through a connection of love. So ultimately the book is about love and how love is eternal. So, and it's
excellent.
Really, it's interesting. I'm working on a sequel right now. So I don't want to say too much about that one, but yeah.
So you haven't learned. Here you are writing again.
I haven't learned enough. I mean, I guess being a writer is kind of contagious. You keep wanting to write more and more books. So
yeah, excellent. Anyway, best of luck. We'll put a picture of it up and links under the show for anybody who's interested.
Thank you.
But why I have you on now is because you shared a dream that it fits in with the theme of this show. So I'm going to let you explain the dream and then what happened afterwards that kind of made it all a whole wow experience.
Right. So this dream was, to give you a little background, I grew up in this one home from the time I was born until I was 8 years old. And that home has always held fond memories for me. So in this dream, my sister and I walk up to the front door because we want to go see what this home looks like now. And we knock on the door, but as we're knocking on the door, we notice the door is covered with Post-it notes. We have no idea why there's so many Post-it notes on the front door, but as I'm knocking, the door opens a little bit. And I'm thinking the people aren't home, I can't go in. So we kind of back off. I look in the window, and as I look in the window, I see a large old upright piano, and I see all this sheet music and things like that on the piano. I said, the owner of the house must be a music teacher too. And at that point, my sister and I walk away, and the dream ends. So I happened to be going back to my hometown about 2 months after that. And so I got the crazy idea, maybe I'll try to go see my old house. And so I looked up the owners in the county assessor's office and found out their names and wrote them a letter and explained the situation, explained how I'd be in town for other reasons. And they didn't respond. So I thought, they think I'm some crazy guy, trying to case their house, or maybe a thief trying to see what they have so I can steal it. The night before I left, I looked at my phone and there was a voice message, and the voice message was from the owners of the house. And they said, we've been out of town for 4 months. We just saw your letter today. You're welcome to come over. It would have been a Sunday. You're welcome to come over on the Sunday. So on that Sunday, I took my daughter was with me. And so my daughter and I went to this house. And as soon as I walked in the door, I kind of took my breath away, and I got chills because right in front of the doorway, as you walk in, there's a big upright piano. And when I asked the owner of the house about the piano, she said, yes, I teach music. And you can't even imagine what was going through my brain at that point, because I'm like, oh my gosh, that dream was real. It really happened. But the piece that I can't get my head around, that's really difficult for me to get my head around in the dream, is in the dream the door was open. And so, in essence, the door was already open before I even knew to ask, which is kind of the cool part about the dream, I think. And that's, in a nutshell, that's what happened. And it's just every time I think about that dream, it's like, oh.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And so then the question is, did the dream give you the idea to go to the old house, or was it an idea of going to the old house, gave you the dream, and so on? Obviously, the
I
dream
don't
comes
know.
first. And
Yeah.
but to get that information, to actually see through the house, to see what's there, and
Mhm.
also to have a female with you. Now, in your dream, you had your sister, but it was your daughter
It was
in
my daughter
reality.
with, yeah,
But even,
exactly.
that's there's still a match, although just a little bit off, like you weren't there on your own. And
Right. But it was my oldest sister and my older daughter too. So that's
right, that's even closer. Yeah, yeah.
right.
And then I would take all the post-it notes on the thing is like somebody called, but there was nobody there. It
Right.
just matches up in so many ways. It's
It's almost like the
absolutely
post-it
cool.
notes or the pile of letters that they had to go through to see my letter, right?
All right. Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah.
I love how you looked up the county assessor's office. I wouldn't even know
I
where
wanted
to
to find out their name.
So you're a real
Wanted,
super sleuth now that you started writing books and
yeah, I
figuring out
guess
how to
so.
do stuff.
I'm ready for if anybody wants to hire me, I'm open.
Well, it's a great dream. It really had to give you chills and still give you chills. I, I
It
always
does.
I always find it interesting that the things that really are profound. So you could read lots of books about near-death experiences or people who've had strange spiritual experiences, and you may, even if you want to believe them, they're still all secondhand at best. But when you have
Mhm.
your own personal experience, nothing beats that, because for the rest of your life, like you'll go, well, that happened, and that really happened, and I know it happened because it was me. So it's
Exactly.
there.
And if you think about the dream, even the dream interpretation, one of the signs of being having a prophetic dream is there's a 180-degree vision. And you think, well, you're prophetic, but you don't really feel it until you actually go in
Yeah,
there and have that experience in real life. So
yeah. Another thing, usually in those dreams, there's a feeling that's pervasive, like as if you're wearing something around your waist, like
mhm.
an elastic band around your waist or around your forehead. Can you remember if you had that experience?
I
It's 2 months before the
remember,
event, but
I remember a belt. I mean, trying to pull up my pants because the belt was a little tight or something like that. But I do remember a belt. So
okay, perfect. Yeah, that's it. It's just a weird thing, and because I have those dreams too, and it's great because then you wake up and you say, "Don't interpret it. It's not actually a dream."
yeah.
But it's way spookier than a dream because it's like that. This is like Twilight Zone stuff.
It is.
But
Now, the trick would be to have that on demand. That would be cool.
yeah, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Well, Bruce, thanks for joining us to share that. Absolutely love it, and I'm sure it's still rattling your brain. Um,
Yeah, it is. It will be for quite a while.
yeah, yeah. And your
But
next book is
yeah,
a direct sequel.
what I'm kind of working on right now, and in that one chapter, it was that whole channel section with Jessica. This one is going to be a takeoff of that. So I think that we're going to talk about aspects of love, and we're going to really hammer that one home, but it'll be more of a conversation between me and Jessica. So tentatively, the book's titled Conversations with Jessica, subtitle Aspects of Love. So
Right. Yeah. See, if that was me, it'd be like, okay, I'm going to explain what I know. I can spell love. Now over to you, Jessica. 100 pages, please. I really hope you enjoyed Bruce's first-hand experience and retelling of a dream that wasn't a dream. Um, and, spooky and all as it is, you have to have that experience yourself really firsthand for it to mean as much as it would for the likes of him or for Samantha. But I brought his interview back to about his book because I knew his sequel is all about love, and I love that perspective, pun intended, from when an angel or a guide channels and explains how they see things, because they have a level of compassion and understanding and love that we do not typically have on the earth plane. And they will explain everything from that everybody does as an act of love. Very, very enlightening to hear their perspective. Like, how is a murderer, how is a thief, how is a suicide bomber, you name it, how are their actions at all motivated by love? And it's very eye-opening to hear their perspective, because that's the perspective ultimately that we need to get to, an understanding and level of forgiveness to reach that vibration. It's our goal. That's where we're all headed. But I kept the cameras rolling and talked about other things with Bruce, and I want to include some of them here. I just recently finished, in fact, yesterday, we finished our mentorship program, the advanced part of it. So it started June last year, all the way to yesterday, without any gaps whatsoever, every Sunday, all the way between them. And the students finished with working with people to help them cut the ties and heal childhood trauma, heal big issues that they have through doing dream work. And Bruce volunteered for one of the people to be their client. And so he worked with Amina, and he just had this to say about her, and it was really good stuff.
While I still have you, my cutting the ties with Amina was amazing. It was, she was so good. She was incredible. She was in depth. She was compassionate. She got to the detail information that I needed to get her to. And so it really, I can feel the change already. So that's what's kind of cool about what I've been through is she was excellent. I can't tell you how good she was.
Oh, I'm delighted to hear it. Well, thank you, Bruce, very much for the interview. And I'll have a little bit more of that next week, because there was more. The cameras kept going. We'll talk about more next week. Thank you for watching this clip from the Dream Interpretation Podcast. If you want to hear the whole show, there's a link directly under this video. Please like and share with your friends, all of your friends. And don't forget to subscribe to the podcast at thedreaminterpretationpodcast.com. That's also where you can submit your dream to the show and have yours featured. You can also download my free dictionary that has thousands of symbols that will help you understand the meaning of your dreams. Thanks for listening.